Hello everyone, and welcome to my GH Soap Opera Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers: Jason and Dante join forces to take out Faisan? General Hospital spoilers say that Caesar Faisan is alive, and that Jason Morgan and Dante Falconeri could band up to uncover the villain and bring him down. This week's General Hospital promo video begins with Jason announcing that Faisan is still alive while Dante watches, perplexed and worried. Dr. Britt Westbourne traumatized Jason in the Friday, January 30th episode by giving him the whole truth about her whereabouts since passing away in 2023. She also spilled the beans about collaborating on Faisan's final cold fusion project along with WSB head, Ross Cullum, and Jen Sidwell. Britt also acknowledged that she was assisting the evil pair with their research in return for her father's experimental medications for Huntington's condition. Not to mention the fact that Cullum had said that if she didn't fall back into line, he'd send Rocco Falconeri to Steinmauer, WSB's criminal jail. With being stated, while Britt did talk about how dangerous Sidwell and Cullum were, she never revealed that her father was still alive. Jason and Britt agreed to partner up, after they also agreed to keep away from each other from here on out. During the week of February, would Britt admit that she has a suspicion that Faisan is still alive? How is Jason going to conclude that Faisan is still alive? While Faisan revealed himself to Anna Devane over the week of January 26th to 30th, as Anna has been hallucinating, it's hard to establish if this really Caesar or if Anna mistakenly envisioned him. However, Britt might give Jason this information before they part ways in the cabin this week because Sidwell and Cullum's cold fusion research may ultimately aim to bring back Faisan. Jason might think that Faisan is about to rise from the dead. These GH weekly previews can swerve fans at times, so it'll be fascinating to see why Jason feels this. Regardless, with Anna out of the picture, Jason may turn to Dante for support. After all, Sonny Corinthos, his regular right-hand man, can't possibly handle this WSB thing. It appears that Dante and Jason could collaborate on a rescue attempt that entails eliminating Sidwell and Cullum as well as making sure Faisan remains dead, as whatever additional information Britt divulges might lead Jason to believe that the bad guys have Anna. As this cold fusion plot eventually comes to a close, General Hospital spoilers suggest that viewers should prepare for plenty of action and intrigue. GH illustrates how control may be more perilous than violence. Britt's fear wasn't about weapons or threats, but about losing the medication keeping her stable. Control arrived first, long before anyone went for a pistol on General Hospital. Cullum, Sidwell, and Marco held Britt's prescription just out of reach, reminding her in cautious, measured ways that her health depended on her compliance. You'll remain valuable if you finish the work and finish Faisan's cold fusion project. Every decision Britt made was negotiated under duress because of the ongoing threat, which was never overt. Brute force seems almost honest in comparison to that control, which has taken hold. Key takeaways: Cullum, Sidwell, and Marco controlled Britt's behavior by using her medication as leverage. Britt was pressed to complete Faisan's cold fusion experiment in exchange for ongoing access to her medicines. The threat was ongoing and procedural rather than physical or overt. Rather than guilt or manipulation, Britt's actions toward Jason were motivated by fear of losing her medicine. In the end, power over Britt's health surpassed physical violence as the true threat. They didn't need to raise their voices. The criminals never rushed Britt. They were not required to. Sidwell calmly discussed schedules, resources, and the consequences of a slowdown. While Cullum waited close as evidence that escape routes were fictitious, Marco framed the work as inevitable, something that had already been chosen. Britt was free to debate logistics and lab conditions, but not whether or not she would finish. She didn't have the leverage in her pocket. Her medications turned into currency. Not a threat you could fight with, simply something they could hold back, modify, or grab away the second she stepped out of line. Since it didn't need to, the show never stopped explaining it. Every scene had that unpleasant realization that they were bargaining with Britt's own body. Jason was able to figure it out almost instantly. Fear was evident in Britt's outbursts, the way she pushed him away, and her abrupt brutality against someone she trusted. Fear of losing the one thing that keeps her steady, not fear of violence. Britt's choices were never really choices. When Britt finally told Jason the truth, it came out flat and weary. She described how her father's work had been placed in front of her, how her death had been staged, and how the true leash was her Huntington's medication. It wasn't overly dramatic. It was procedural. The math was cruel, complete the project and live, refuse and fail. Sidwell didn't need to threaten her life directly because the consequence was already inscribed into her condition. Without explicitly stating it, the performance trusted the viewer to sense how confined she was. Jason's reaction was significant since it didn't become heroic. He didn't promise speedy rescue. He talked about time, risk, and doing this carefully. Britt's acceptance of that plan felt more like resolve, the kind that develops when someone has already survived worse, than relief. By the conclusion of the week, there was no longer any threat from potential shooters. It was up to them to determine whether Britt was well enough to continue fighting. The most terrifying aspect is that their evil manipulation of Britt lingers long after the episodes have concluded. Willow's ambush, Britt's danger, Marco's curveball. Tracy's blizzard rescue takes a completely unexpected turn, Britt discovers a troubling secret, and Willow acts dirty in a custody bet. Alexis Davis is being begged by Willow Tate Kane. Lucas Jones offers Marco Rios a recommendation. Britt Westbourne is also going to make an unsettling revelation. Key points: Willow Tate Kane makes a desperate power move. Michael Corinthos draws a hard line. Sonny Corinthos tests Rick Lansing. Britt Westbourne faces new danger. Tracy Quartermain's blizzard rescue goes sideways today on General Hospital. Willow Tate Kane's ambush. Let's begin with Willow. The nurse begs an invisible someone to help her more than ever in the first scene of the preview clip. That individual appears to be Alexis Davis. Knowing what she does now about Willow, there's no way she will help her get custody of the kids. However, Willow could pull a dirty move. The woman may learn a lot from Drew Kane's strategy. Willow may even threaten to turn Danny Morgan and Scout Quartermain against her. Michael Corinthos' fury that undoubtedly leads to Alexis making a phone call to Michael Corinthos. However, the man adds angrily that if Willow wants to compromise, she may come to him. Sonny Corinthos' order. Sonny Corinthos assigns Rick Lansing a job. This is another opportunity for Rick to prove that he is a capable lawyer, according to the mob boss. Britt Westbourne's danger. According to General Hospital teasers for the upcoming episode, Britt is in danger. At last, the woman has confided in Jason Morgan. Britt will still have to deal with danger though. It is also intimated that Britt is about to uncover a horrible discovery. I wonder if Anna Devane has anything to do with that. What else to expect? Jocelyn Jacks is still engaging in illicit espionage games. Lucas also wants to move in with Marco. But when Marco declines, the doctor will be taken aback. Plus, Brooke Lynn Quartermain is frightened. Emma Scorpio Drake and Giovanni Gio Palmieri are informed by the woman that they must locate her. Tracy Quartermain, who is stuck with Martin Gray, is the subject of their conversation. They may discover Tracy in a precarious situation with Martin while attempting to save her from the blizzard. So stay tuned for all the fun. General Hospital exclusive preview. Caitlin McMullen warns that Willow's craziest scheme yet will lead to the worst moment of her life. The walls are closing in on General Hospital's Willow, which means it's time for her to dig deep into her bag of tricks and bring out another scheme. And as actress Caitlin McMullen teases, Willow in survival mode, which makes her a little bit dangerous. Or perhaps we should say a little bit more dangerous, considering that in recent months she has shot Drew, gaslight Sasha, and just for good measure, given him a heart attack. She doesn't really have much to lose, except her children, and she'll do anything to protect them, adds McMullen. Michael is the only person preventing Willow from seeing her children now that Drew is at least momentarily out of the picture. What better way to get him out of the picture than by framing him for her husband's shooting? According to the actress's preview, she assumes that he won't suffer any actual lasting consequences because his family is powerful. She knows he didn't do it, so she assumes he won't actually be found guilty. The shadow of suspicion, however, could be enough to help her obtain custody. This is basically a way for her to put a target on him, she explains. Now you can see how hard this has been on me, she says. Unfortunately, Willow may be leaving a trail of clues that someone may easily follow. But she doesn't believe Michael will actually go to jail or anything. Even worse, that person is probably Tracy. Should Willow be worried about upsetting the cage held by Port Charles's most influential individuals? Everything coming to light, as always occurs in every soap narrative, will be tremendous drama for Willow. However, McMullen cautions that it will also be the worst time of her life. General Hospital spoilers next 3 weeks, Valentine's Day surprises, new date partners, Drew's suffering. General Hospital spoilers for the next 3 weeks, February 2nd to February 20th, hint that there'll be some Valentine's Day surprises, new date partners, Maxie Jones' awakening and Drew Kane's anguish. Jason Morgan's meeting with Sonny Corinthos and some shocking revelations are scheduled for the week of February 2nd to 6th. Sonny ought to learn that Britt Westbourne was present when Jen Sidwell shot Henry Hank Dalton. Since Britt mentioned Ross Cullum and his WSB link, Jason may expose it also and hypothesize about if Cullum ordered the hits on Sonny. As for Willow Kane, it seems she'll utilize Scout Quartermaine and Danny Morgan's dilemma for selfish advantage. Willow will put Alexis Davis and Michael Corinthos in a bind as she seeks to lock in time with Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Corinthos. At Drew's place, he'll silently see that Willow being in charge of his life. Willow might admit to shooting Drew and make it obvious that he will never be able to leave that bed. Over with Britt, she'll have a meltdown after finding out something she perhaps wasn't supposed to know. Will Britt get updates on Anna Devane's imprisonment condition and panic once Cullum is threatening her to keep quiet? During the week of February 9th to 13th, Lulu Spencer and Nathan West will struggle to fight temptation. There'll finally be some news from Boston, since Maxie will return starting February 12th. That means Maxie is on the approach of waking up from her coma and confronting some enormous surprises, starting with the knowledge that Nathan is alive. The sentiments that Nathan and Lulu have developed may be kept under wraps for a while, but you can guarantee they'll erupt in more ways than one soon. With Valentine's Day quickly coming, the timing of Cody Bell and Molly Lansing Davis relationship problems couldn't be worse. Will Molly and Cody be able to reconcile by then, or will they be depressed and spend the romantic holiday apart? In any event, because Valentine's Day is a Saturday, the celebrations may continue into the week of February 16th to 20th. In order to ensure that they still get to spend time together, Jason and Britt will become cunning. According to GH Spoilers, as Curtis and Jordan Ashford continue to rekindle their romance, some romantic developments are on the horizon. Sidwell's romance with Lucy Coe will end badly because of his interest in Ava Jerome, but Rick Lansing will also enjoy a date with Elizabeth Baldwin. Sidwell might let Lucy go if she insists on having all of his attention on her. Stay tuned for some amazing drama throughout the city over the next 3 weeks, according to General Hospital Spoilers. Something stronger is needed. Dangerous Minds Jason comes to the PCPD to discuss some disturbing news with the acting police commissioner. Faisan is still alive, he reports to Dante. Although it seems improbable, might Faisan have joined his daughter Britt and son Nathan, who both recently came back from the dead. Meanwhile, Anna remains captive, and the emotional agony has truly taken a toll. You have to get me out of here, she is adamant with Felicia. After getting visits from the allegedly dead Faisan and Peter, is Anna only hallucinating Felicia, or is this genuinely happening, and the tears in Felicia's eyes are genuine? Willow and Michael are getting ready to talk about their children's custody arrangement once more, but it appears that they were convinced to try to resolve the matter without going to court once more, as Alexis invites the parents to meet with her and Rick in her office. Let's get started, she proclaims, calling Willow and Michael inside. Getting her kids back has been Willow's ultimate goal in all she has done lately, but it has been a difficult fight. She laments to Nina, "I begged Michael for peace." We then see a scene of a grim-looking Willow presenting a file to Alexis, followed by brief clips of Michael, Willow, Rick and Alexis, and judging from their expressions, the attempt at compromise isn't going very well. Willow says, "It's time for something stronger," and we catch her staring carefully at a key. But what does it unlock, and what new nefarious scheme is she plotting? It's only my opinion, pulling the plug on GH's Drew and stories not working on YNR, BNB, Days, and BTG. It's likely that some of the stories that soap operas tell at any given moment won't resonate with viewers. Carolyn Hinsey examines various stories that fall short on General Hospital, Young and Restless, Days of Our Lives, Beyond the Gates, and Bold and Beautiful, such as Luna Part 2 on BNB and Haley's incredibly slow murder of Bill on BTG. The end. When should a soap opera end a failing story? As quickly as you can. Since last spring, Mariah's story on YNR has stagnated, which is a long time for a soap opera. She may have killed a guy, checked herself into a mental health facility, abandoned her wife Tessa and daughter Aria, and most recently, had hallucinations of her previous captor Ian Ward. He unexpectedly advised her to abduct Dominic, Abby and Devon's son, considering the child wasn't even shown on TV. "Why can't I just take Aria?" asked Mariah. "Ian, you only took her in because you really missed Dominic. Dominic came from your flesh, just as you came from your mother. He belongs with you. You spoke to him while he was still in the womb. Mariah, Abby loves him. Ian, You loved him first. What? Nothing about this story makes sense. Not Ian Ward reappearing. Not Mariah, who has a mental illness, and Dominic playing I Spy. It is unacceptable for Sharon, a licensed therapist, to let her daughter spend months in the loony bin without checking on her. And certainly not YNR splitting up their sole gay relationship for this crap. Bring in an attractive shrink to advise Mariah and have Mariah walk in on Tessa in bed with Daniel. It's time to resume the soap opera. Some of the stories on Days are similar. Are we really seeing three of Salem's most vibrant women, who have over 160 years combined working on this show, read a book? The Widow's Book Club was hosted by a man named Foster at his bookstore, and it wasn't as much devilish fun as we're used to with Marlena's tales. Marlena, I'm not ready. Julie, oh God, what have I done? Maggie, it's exactly what we thought. Foster, she did read the book and listen, but it's too early for her. She'll be back. I hope not. Watching Marlena mope around town is not a plot, so I hope she's involved in the Stefano is Dead tale that just debuted. Days whiffed with the arc of the Demera progeny being held captive in the crypt, so they doubled down and chose to officially kill the father. Rafe, your father owns the bones. EJ, he was the phoenix. You could never count out that he would rise again. Kristen, I killed Peter with father's femur. It seems. It would make sense for Stefano to start seeing Marlena as she was his queen of the night. What about a funeral? Such an undignified end for him, said Johnny. What can we do about Dylan, the newcomer on B&B? Perhaps there is something we can do about it. With some of the most hilarious situations since Sheila offered her toe to a bear, they are forcing her into Will and Electra's romance. Wearing a leotard, toe shoes, and classical music that Will had ready to play so she could spin around in front of him, Will was at home by himself with his house visitor Dylan, pushing her to do ballet. Well, not in front of him. In order to face the camera while performing all those plies and relèves, Dylan danced with her back to Will. It's Luna 2.0, Electra becomes envious and causes issues when a mysterious girl enters their orbit and becomes fascinated with Will. B&B has never established why we should root for Will and Electra, other than them being stunningly attractive young people from important families. What impact did Luna's drama have on their bond? Why does Dylan live with her lover while Electra continues to reside at Eric's? How was Ivy too unwell to travel on an essential business trip but not too sick to spy on Will and Dylan from the bushes? Ivy, you're moving when my kind, dependable, generous niece is out of town. Dylan, what? Ivy, you were in the main home by yourself with Will. Electra's boyfriend. I witnessed everything, Miss Dylan. I will not let you get away with trying to steal Electra's guy. Leave LA and never come back. Can you say overkill? Fill in the blanks with relevant story points, not Electra's aunt acting like Natasha from Rocky and Bullwinkle. Luna abused Will, and Dylan murdered her. The heart-to-heart they talked about the Luna nightmare they both endured makes so much more sense than Dylan singing Swan Lake in the living room. Additionally, it would make sense for BTG to declare Bill and Haley's marriage to be dead. Her persistent attempts to murder her husband run the risk of demeaning one of Fairmont Crest's most intelligent men. Haley, I'll be sobbing at his funeral long before he knows something is wrong. See, that's terrible. The show is doing an excellent job demonstrating Bill regrets having divorced Danny, explaining to Tomas that Danny was ferocious when he married her, but over time forgiven his falsehoods and allowed him win every battle. Bill, it's painfully ironic. Danny has regained her rhythm, and Bill became extremely enamored with his former father-in-law as they reminisced about the years he spent next to Dupree. Everything she did for me is exactly what pushed me away. Vernon, you came this close to swallowing our family whole, but you have no power over us anymore. Bill, I think I made a mistake leaving Danny. Vernon, damn straight you did. If Bill is smart enough to acknowledge that, then every time Haley insists he drink that fake wellness tea that she's poisoning, his spidey senses must tingle. Really, BTG, give it a call. Like GH did with Drew, who was essentially a walking cartoon after being painted into such a villainous corner. After Willow's trial was over, a blizzard that put unusual people in intriguing positions filled that dramatic void. Top of the list were Tracy and Martin, stranded together in Drew's house after she snuck in to collect the stuff Drew stole from her. After Martin told Tracy that she had damaged his life by initiating his separation with Lucy, they had an unexpected discussion about love. Martin, the love of Luke's life was my sister Laura. Doesn't that bother you? Tracy, what Luke had with Laura had nothing to do with me. Martin, you had a great love, and you lost him. You're now venting your suffering on the rest of the world. You make a valid point. In other news, Lulu kissed Nathan, Charlotte and Danny enjoyed a kiss, Molly and Cody revealed their 900th miscommunication, and Jason and Britt became preoccupied. Yes, they are kissing cousins, but I'm not bothered by it. Queen Elizabeth II's connection with her husband, Prince Philip, was similar to that of second cousins once removed. The real drama will occur when Alexis and Valentine discover that second cousins share minimal DNA, making the risk of genetic issues in children similar to that of unrelated individuals, according to a simple Google search. Speaking of drama, Carly and fugitive Valentine having a drink in front of a raging fire amid the blizzard was unexpectedly sexy. Carly, you were going to find Charlotte, or die trying. You're not who I thought you were. Valentine, you're not who I thought you were either. Could that be the payoff for GH pulling the plug on Anna and Valentine back in 2024? How about making us wait? Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe my channel without missing any update.